Sabrina, good morning. 9:42. Let's jump right into the KUAM News Zoom room where we have a standing by. She's the Public Health, Environmental Health Division Administrator, Mary Lou Scroggs, joined by the spokesperson for the Department of Public Health and Social Services, Janela Carrera. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Chris, and good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. If we could, Mary Lou, maybe we'll just jump right into it and give us a kind of a status update on the inspections that the division is conducting. Because I know you guys do the sanitation, the regular stuff, and then you're also doing these COVID-19 inspections, right?
Correct.
So give us some results. I know that generally yesterday you had said there were like a couple other restaurants that have been found in violation of these pandemic protocols. Can you tell us anything more about that this morning?
Can you repeat that, Chris?
Can you tell us which restaurants other than McCrouts are violating the pandemic protocols?
Recently, we haven't received any complaint when it comes to health-regulated establishment that's not adhering to the executive order or the DPHS public health guidance. The latest that the latest complaints that we receive are just like congregation in a residential area. Well, when it comes to health regulated, for the past 3 days, I haven't received any complaint.
How about before that? Mary Lou, how about prior to the last 3 days?
Yes, we did. It's just like not enforcing mandatory wearing of masks, because there are times that people just walk in without wearing face masks. I know all the businesses are trying to comply with the executive order and the DPHSS guidance, but it's not like, of course, it's not 100% that they're really monitor every person or every customer that walks in their establishment or facility. But as soon as they notice it, they correct it on the spot. Just like it's not like they're really not, it's not like they're not adhering or not complying with executive order. And all of the businesses are trying to work with us. They're not just like really ignoring or not complying with the executive order.
Janela, we had you on yesterday, and you talked about 4 to 5 visits to McCrouts in Malolo, including one that was conducted over the last weekend. Mary Lou, when you talk about businesses have been working with you guys, is this kind of common where you have a business that you got to go check on, 4 to 5 times?
No, okay. The reason why we did a 4 to 5 visit at McCrouts is because of the first complaint, which is started with the video that was circulated through social media. Unfortunately, we were not able to respond that night because it was late, so we went the next day. So because of that, I directed my staff to just drive by and do a visit to monitor if they're complying with the executive order and public health guidance. It's not like we received 3 to 5 complaints. No, it's just one complaint that we received on McCrouts.
So what happened over this past weekend? Public Health responded to a complaint made about McCrouts this past weekend?
I didn't get that, Sabrina.
Can you tell us why Public Health responded to McCrouts this past weekend? I think it was Saturday night.
Why did you guys go to McCrouts over the weekend?
Um, just to, okay, we're trying to work with all with business owners. We want to work with them for them to comply and to avoid additional complaint. So I personally went there with our health inspector to work with the management, and they're they're pretty good in trying to comply with the requirements. There's a few violations when we get there, but they corrected on the spot because they're because also these customers when they come in groups, even if they put 5 chairs in one table, the customer will just grab whatever available chair and join the table of 5 people. So that's one issue that we observed when we went there on Sunday. And also, because it's an outdoor dining, people are not going through the main entrance. They go, and there are both sides that they can go in to the outdoor dining. So because there's only 2 server, they're not able to stop them right away for not going to the outdoor dining without wearing their mask. But it was corrected on the spot.
So did you call GPD on Sunday to show up? Because when we spoke,
No, 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 we didn't call because uh, it's not necessary to call GPD. We only call GPD for assistance if they're not complying.
okay, because when we spoke with the chief of police yesterday, he said that they responded to McCrouts over the weekend.
Yeah, and he said that there was a public nuisance
Yeah.
citation that was issued.
The-
I'm not aware of that they responded to McCrouds this weekend, because every time they respond to congregation or any violation of the executive order, they always uh, they always call us or notify public health. But I did not receive any call from GPD this weekend.
I don't know. Janella, didn't you tell us yesterday that there was something that happened at McCrouts this weekend? Because I'm not really sure what's going on here. It's like Mary Lou's saying nothing happened, that they're working with him. We heard from the chief that something did happen. We heard from you yesterday that they were further admonished.
Yes, and that's what Mary Lou mentioned, that we did go out, we visit them, we did inspect, and that's what I mentioned. But, I wasn't aware either that GPD also went out. And it could just be that, maybe there was a complaint made to GPD and they went out to inspect because of possibly a congregation of more than 5 people, and that may not be tied necessarily to the outdoor dining. It could just be that there were a group of people congregating, and that might have been a separate complaint that GPD wanted to investigate.
Did you guys review any documents showing the list of name, addresses, and phone numbers that are required in public health's guidance memo?
McCrouds has a logbook or a log sheet where customers sign in, put their name and contact numbers.
So they are complying in that regard.
They're complying, yeah.
Okay.
And they said as soon as they get the stand-up thermometer, they're gonna open the side. So there will be 2 entrance, which is the front main entrance and the side. So they're putting 2 log sheet or sign-in sheet on both entrance or access to the outdoor dining. We did check their log sheet, and they're in compliance with that.
So nobody is breaking the pandemic protocols.
When we did visit on last Sunday, I didn't observe. The only thing that we observed are there only few customers that not wearing their mask while they're walking, but it was corrected on the spot.
I mean,
Other than that, we didn't observe any other violations.
so there haven't been any violations issued by environmental health relative to the violation of COVID protocols in how long?
What do you mean how long?
Have you guys issued any violation notices to any restaurants or businesses for violating the guidance orders from the department?
Yes.
Are you talking about since we visited McCrouts or just in general?
Yeah, sure. Since you visited McCrouts and in general.
Okay, so I think that's probably something that we need to pull up.
Thank you, Mary Lou.
Yes, there was only a few, maybe one or two for my daily debrief on that.
And is that primarily because most establishments are following the protocols? It's just these few, a couple?
So while she pulls that up, yeah, I think, most establishments, when we go out to visit them, most of them are willing to comply with the executive order and the guidance memos. They're willing to work with us. And, the guidance memos, they change every few weeks. Sometimes from one week to another, they change. And so we want to give them that opportunity and that educational piece to comply with the guidance. So when we go out there and we inspect, or if there's a complaint made, they may not necessarily be aware of the changes, the recent changes. When we go out there, we educate them and they correct it on the spot, or we give them 24 hours to correct it. They may not have an organization specific plan right away, so we give them that opportunity to submit that. And then when we follow up, typically they've already corrected that. And, it's rare that we find an establishment where, we've had to visit them multiple times. And I think Mary Lou is going to be able to pull up that information right now.
Yeah, for last week, there's about 7, or not even all, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 5 establishments. One is a few eating and drinking, 2 beauty salon that were cited for failing to adhere a few of the items on the executive orders, just like posting of signage, not having the organizational specific response or guidance plan. Yeah, most of the first violation of establishment is they don't have their organization specific guidance plan or response plan.
Has anybody been shut down? And at what point, Mary Lou, does a business get shut down for violating these orders? Is there a clear protocol on that?
We're still working with the Attorney General on that. I don't really know how the status as of today. If AG, Attorney General's office, already response to our request. Do you know anything about that, Janella?
No, not yet. And I think that's something we're going to follow up on because we did make that request to see if, the provision in being able to tie the public nuisance aspect to the sanitary permit, if that's something that
Right.
council would have the authority to do to suspend the sanitary permits.
Mary
So
Lou, do you think
hopefully we get guidance on that.
from a enforcement standpoint, do you think that would be a valuable tool for your division, Mary Lou, to be able to tie the sanitation permit to COVID protocol violations?
Yeah, it would be valuable if we can do that.
Because what's the feeling? Do you feel like with no real teeth in the enforcement of this, that maybe businesses don't take it seriously? I'm not sure. Is that accurate?
Um, I don't feel that they're not taking it seriously because I don't think they want to see public health inspector keep going back to their establishment. So I don't feel that way.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mary Lou. Janella, though, I wanted to just follow up on the rapid engagement team. And I know yesterday was the last day, and they wrapped up the deployment there. If you could just kind of give us the final details of everything and the positive cases.
Sure. Yeah, so we were able to complete our mission yesterday in the subdivisions of Ilbaza and Zero Down. Out of the 131 samples that were collected, that was from yesterday, 3, we had 36 positive cases. So in total for all 3 days, so 1, day 2, day 3, that would be a cumulative 422 samples that were collected. And of that, if you add all three days, that would be 117 total positive cases.
What's next?
But you really were. What's next after this? Yeah, so we're going to regroup. Our team's going to have our debrief, discuss all the challenges we faced, all the successes, talk about any room for improvement. We're going to look at evidence, all the data, and just have discussions with all the stakeholders, all the key players, all the experts, and then look at other areas of the island that may need, that urgent, immediate intervention, and then move forward from there. Whether, we have to look at other areas of GIGO, whether that's Dedido, but definitely other areas that we know, we feel that, a rapid engagement may be necessary. So we'll move forward from there.
Were these the numbers you guys were expecting? Or were you expecting it this seems kind of high.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Definitely, it is kind of high, but we didn't have any set expectations as far as numbers when we went into these 2 subdivisions. We did expect to see active cases. That's what happens when you do active case finding. We were hoping to get positive cases because we want to put a stop to the spread. We knew we were going to find active cases, and that's what happens when you do active case finding.
Right.
And of course, with these active cases, these positive numbers, the goal now is to contain it, to isolate these positive cases. That's our mission. That's the next step in this process, to put that stop and contain the positive cases, of course. We're going to see a rise in numbers, of course, but ultimately we want to decrease the numbers in the long run.
Janella, was it the contact tracing associated with these positive cases? Was it kind of open shut because you did the rapid engagement into that area, or is the contact trace division still kind of tracking down people who may have come into contact with these positive cases?
The contact tracing. So basically, with rapid engagement. The rapid aspect of it is our team mobilizing within 24 to 48 hours, going into these communities. Rapid in terms of trying to isolate these positive cases as rapidly as possible. But the application of our established guidelines are no different from how we apply them, notwithstanding the rapid engagement team. So contact tracing, contact case investigation is no different from how we do it outside of rapid engagement. So our contact tracing team is going to begin, their contact of these isolated positive cases, find out who they have been in contact with at the workplace, at their homes, friends, other family members. So that will go on and proceed as the normal process entails.
Thank you. Is that it, Bree? You
Yeah.
good? Okay. Okay, keep us posted.
Sure, not
Thank
a
you.
problem. Thanks so much for your
Okay.
time.
Thank you, Mary Lou.
Thanks, Mary Lou.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janella.
Okay, go ahead and finish the coffee, and then we also have
All right, thank you.
virtual pumpkin turnovers in there for you guys.
My favorite. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Check the crust. Jason worked extra hard on the crust. It's airy, very airy. All right, 10:02. Thank you very much. Hey, let's knock out our Pepsi trivia question here. This is an easy one. Might sound familiar to you.